And I've made the fairly glamorous trip from the presenting studio to the commentary box.
To go out in a wet race,
otherwise known as the short walk from my kitchen to my bedroom.
Full wet. So tell us about those things.
Well, I was so happy about yesterday because from Qatar we did a great step on the setup of the bike, and I was really confident, especially on the front, so I could push really hard on the, especially in the qualifying for time attack. Honestly, in Q2 I was not, let's say, 100% because I did FP3, FP4, Q1 also in Q2, so I was a bit tired, honestly. For this also, I couldn't reply the 31.6 of the Q1, but yeah, it was a great lap, honestly. I was super happy about that. And yeah, I'm here waiting. Honestly, it's a pity that at the moment we cannot race because the conditions are what they are. But I'm just waiting. For sure, before a race, we are always so focused and try to be in the zone. But now everything is a bit lost, because we are just waiting. We don't know what to do. Maybe we go out, maybe we go in, maybe we cannot go. It's a pity. And also, I would like to race in normal condition, with wet but normal condition, because I would like to try the MotoGP bike on rain. But at the moment, seems a bit too much, let's say.
Fabio, I imagine the team and Ducati have so much experience in the wet, they just put a setting that they tell you will work. Do you have any input on how you want the setting, or you just trust them and go ride it?
Well, for sure we start from our base setup of the dry, and we do all the modifying for the wet. But honestly, I don't have any feedbacks. Also, then said to me, go out and enjoy, because we don't know anything. So also for me will be my first time, and yeah, I'm waiting.
Fabio, thank you for your time. Good luck this afternoon.
Thank you.
Between each other already.
Scenes you didn't expect to see at 3:15 on race day Sunday at the Indonesian Grand Prix. The entire pit lane is giving this lady an audience here.
Well, to be honest, let's hope this works. Apparently this is a local rain ritual.
Desperate times and all that.
Banish away these clouds. Let's hope this lady's efforts pay off, because we all want to see a MotoGP.
It's due to get dark here around about 6:30, just before 6:30 local time. So we've got around 3 hours to play with before it starts.
I mean, a lot of things have changed today. You know, we planned on the 27-lap race, but then that got knocked back, and then the rains come in, so that sort of changed our approach again. So, I mean, 27-lap race was going to be a big old survival race, I think, trying to manage the tyres and whatnot. 20 laps sort of brought it back into safe range, let's say, where you could be able to push a bit more. Now having wet, you know, this should stop pretty soon, and when it does stop, I'm assuming it's going to pull up pretty quickly. And yeah, the track won't dry completely, but I think some areas will become dry towards the end of the race. But no, fingers crossed it just stops now and we can get back underway.
Jack, thanks for your time. Good luck.
Mate, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Simon. Thanks to Jack Miller, yeah, echoing the sentiments of all of us here in Indonesia. We do hope that we can get underway. If you are just tuning in, we have a delayed start. Fabio Quartararo is not obviously expecting any action soon. He's got back in his team clothing. Oh, dearie me. Terrible mistake. Was that his ice cream? Oh, dear. That's the first mistake Fabio Quartararo has made all weekend so far. That's a little bit of a red-face moment for our pole man and our reigning world champion. Now, this lady is doing some sterling work now. She's been out on the grid. She is trying to banish away this rain. We sincerely hope it does work, as Fabio Quartararo makes his first mistake of the weekend, dropping his ice cream tub. Let's hope it's the only mistake he makes of the weekend as well. Nothing that the riders and the teams can do, of course. All they can do is wait patiently and hope.
And the president of Indonesia is here, so we must have a race, I think. What can I say? I think we were impressed positively by all the riders, obviously starting from Enea. You know, he did a fantastic job in Qatar. He had an electronic problem, so our fault. Here, I think we saw that we had 7 riders in the top 12, and the 13th rider is another Ducati Bezzecchi. So, I mean, all of them super fast. If we go back to Bezzecchi and Marini, I think they showed here that they can do very good, especially probably in a way better for us because if we do a shortened race, 20 laps with Fabio Quartararo, I think it would be very difficult if I can get a good start because he had an impressive pace on dry conditions. But this conditioner, I think, will help us a little bit more. And then we see, obviously, rainy version, which is what the Gresini riders and Mazbezeki have. Then there is what we call hybrid version of 2022 with some features of a 21, and this is for the two factory riders. As spectators may know, the factory riders, you can choose one engine for both riders. On the independent team, you can use also different specs for different riders. But once the riders, we decided to go back to something more standard in Qatar. Riders had lost a little bit of confidence. So I think here we went back to a more normal setup, and the results prove that this is the right direction. So we have time during the season to bring into the race something new.
Paolo, last question for you. In the future, I'm thinking if that engine is faster, the 22 engine, and we get to somewhere like Austria and you've had time to develop it, do you expect it to start to shine there?
As you know, once you make the choice, it's made for the whole season, no? So we have to stay with the selection that has been made. And obviously, we think, honestly, to be totally transparent, it's so difficult to improve an engine like the engine we were using last year because it already reached a very high level of performances. So obviously, engineers always try to do a little bit better, but sometimes the difference is really small, so it goes back to the feeling of the rider on that engine more than on the actual performance.
Paolo, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thanks to Ducati Lenovo team manager Paolo Ciabatti with Simon Crafar. We just saw there is the president of Indonesia. That's how big this event is for the nation of Indonesia, Mr. Joko Widodo, present. Hopefully to see some Premier Class race action here. The local announcers are doing their best to keep the fans entertained. We've just heard them there, I think, just singing the national anthem. Of course, this was a man who rode with 20 riders on that special parade in Jakarta, which Lewis attended. Gave us a real insight and a real flavour into just how popular MotoGP is in this part of the world. It's great to have Mr. Widodo here present at Fusion Nation. They love their motorcycle racing. Marc Marquez flags waving. Unfortunately, when we do get underway here in Lombok, we will not see Marquez in action. Gotta say, they're doing a pretty good job of keeping up their spirits, Lewis, here, because we've had a pretty lengthy delay. We should have been underway in MotoGP nearly half an hour ago.
Kind of feeling at this Grand Prix. And was rather critical of Michelin. Of course, Michelin having to make a decision based on the 3 days of data that they had at the test, and decided that they had to bring this different casing of the rear tyre. They were fearful of the heat and of blisters causing them some real problems. We had track temperatures mid-60s centigrade on Thursday here at the Perhatian Mandalika circuit.
By moving clouds, service they usually use for big events such as weddings, musics and concerts. Well, let's hope the rain handlers manage to handle this weather. That's a great embrace between two men who've done so much together to bring this sport that we love to a country that loves our sport, MotoGP. Dorna CEO, of course, Carmelo Espeleta, embracing and having a conversation here with Mr. Joko Widodo, the President of the Republic of Indonesia. These two men, of course, have worked tirelessly behind the scenes for weeks, months and years to bring MotoGP back to Indonesia. There were two Indonesian Grand Prix at the Central Circuit near Jakarta back in 1996 and 1997. Popularity of MotoGP in Southeast Asia has ballooned and rocketed over the last 20 years or so. I remember going to Malaysia and Sepang when Sepang was first built back in 1999. They struggled to get 10,000 fans through the gate. Now you can get 150,000 fans coming to Sepang. It's always great to have international races, to bring the sport to new audiences, to bring the sport to where they love MotoGP. Of course, we race in Thailand, we race in Malaysia, we race in Japan, in this part of the world, and we're hoping that we get to race in Indonesia in 2022 as well. Stick with us, be patient.
It's been one of the regrets.
He's the tension and he's the stress that will inevitably going around it. Yeah, you're famous. You've had your moment in the spotlight here in Mandalika. He's got some moves, that guy, hasn't he? There's nothing going to dampen the enthusiasm of that
He's
man
laying
there
down the gauntlet,
in
isn't
the
he?
blue T-shirt. Can we have a dance-off, please, between that man in the crowd
Come on,
and
Fabio
Quartararo? Come on, let's have a Strictly Come Dancing show getting underway here in Mandalika. How come it's taken us so long to find this guy? Absolutely brilliant, loving it. We've loved life in Lombok. Yeah, come on, let's keep going. Superb. Fabio Quartararo.
We gather in 5 days, basically, but I'm really now doubting if we can start, because apparently the tarmac doesn't drain. There is a lot of water, so I don't know until when we will be able to postpone the start of the race.
Getting back to Morbidelli, I was really happy to see the old Franco flashes in him come back. From inside the box, do you feel he's on back?
Race action in here, because it would be the perfect way to end what's been such a brilliant weekend all round. As Lewis touched upon, we had a fantastic welcome when we first arrived here in Jakarta, the parade of 20 riders with President Mr. Widodo. It was like rock stars, wasn't it? And this was all part of what we hoped was going to be a really special grid ceremony to kick off the Indonesian Grand Prix. We saw the special grid ceremony for the first time precede the Qatar Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. It was a real nice new feature. Even though they can't go on the grid and they can't perform out on the circuit, well, the band are still going to play the Indonesian national anthem. So myself and Lewis will just pause for a couple of moments. Well, you've got to give credit to the Indonesian authorities here. They're doing everything they possibly can to keep the patient fans, the expectant fans, entertained and occupied as we continue to have this unfortunate rain delay here. The race, of course, should have been over by now. Unfortunately, we're still waiting. We'll take another quick breathe as well and soak up what hopefully is the pre-race atmosphere of this marching band.
Aku berdiri jadi pandu ibuku, Indonesia kebangsaanku, bangsa dan tanah airku. Marilah kita berseru, Indonesia
rousing and fantastic rendition of the Indonesian national anthem. Some positive news to bring you as well. It looks like the rain just has started to ease off. Sure, that made the hairs on the back of your neck stand up, didn't it? The band there playing in front of the president, Mr. Joko Widodo. The fans putting their heart and soul into that national anthem as well. What a picture that is. Great scenes here. That's why we are so desperate to give these fans the show that they came for, the show that they have been waiting for 25 years. We're 10 minutes away from what we hope will be the pit lane opening.
And this is the reason why we have the new 15-minute start procedure in place, the shorter start procedure, is if there is a window in the weather where it does ease off, they want to make the most of it, because of course there's every chance if it does ease off that the rain could intensify once again later on. So a sensible application of the rules, where if we do get a little bit of a gap in the weather where we can get a race, and it's important to capitalise on it as soon as we can.
The fans there getting the pictures that they'll cherish for many a year to come. Hopefully they'll get some pictures of MotoGP bikes being ridden in anger around this Mandalika circuit. There has been a little bit of a break in the torrential rain. Let's hope those clouds can clear off and we can get some race action coming up. We can hear a few MotoGP bikes just being warmed up in the pit lane. That's got the fans cheering, and this will hopefully get us all cheering, because the new schedule has just been released. There you can see on your screens, pit lane will open as we'd anticipated and as we'd hoped at 4 p.m. local time for a race start at 4:15 local time, so about 75 minutes after we'd hoped to have the Grand Prix of Indonesia underway here in Mandalika. But let's hope that finally this easing of the rain means that we will get this much anticipated, this much expected and much hyped Grand Prix of Indonesia here in Lombok.
Fabio Quartararo will be rushing off to change back into his leathers, of course, having enjoyed the dance-off that was taking place in the grandstands. Of course, much like you guys back at home, I'm sure you all much rather watch motorcycles go on the racetrack and hear us talk over them. But yeah, we hopefully will be only just under 25 minutes away from the race getting underway. Pit lane then due to open in just over 8 minutes time, and that has got the crowd up on their feet. Yeah, the local circuit announcer just confirming the news that we have just brought you sitting at home. We thank you for your patience wherever you are in the world. We know some of you, particularly in Europe, have had a pretty early start to watch the race action. Hope you've got some strong coffee on board and you can now enjoy what will be, of course, a shortened 20-lap Indonesian Grand Prix. You can just still see there on that camera shot looking